to have you here tonight with us.
Me too, thank you.
Just before we start, I got a couple of questions, quick questions for the audience too. Please put up your hands if you've ever heard A Street before.
Oh.
And please put up your hands if you've ever been to A Street before. Anyone would count.
I'm honored, thank you.
See, A Street is already popular.
Thank you very much.
Famous.
Thank you.
And we have the honor to have the founder of the A Street here with us tonight. Isn't that exciting? Okay, let's go straight into the interview.
Sure.
Now, first of all, David, can you please give us a bit of introduction on yourself and the A Street?
Okay. On myself, I've been in Australia for 29 years, a long time ago. When I came here, there's not a lot of Asian, especially not a lot of people from mainland China. So I have to go through the English study, just like most of you, study at the school with no Asian friends. That's quite challenging, but you know, we all go through all the challenges. And after that, my first job was a kitchen hand in the restaurant in the city. I was the longest running kitchen hand in there for 2 years. After that, I done a bit of a cleaning job, then went to UQ. Anyone from UQ here? Yeah, all right. I won't say anything bad then. After probably about 1 or 2 years into marketing economic, I decided that's not for me, so I dropped out of UQ, unfortunately. Sorry for my student colleagues. And then I started my own IT business for a little while. IT was on the peak before 2000. I was fortunate to ride that wave. After 2000, when the GST introduced, when Harvey Norman start, getting into IT, it was become very difficult. So I tried a few different things, franchise, buying groups, buying, selling IT business. So I think I ended up in 2010, 2012. I was then totally out of IT business. I look myself, I say, what am I going to do? Been in IT for a long time. I know nothing else. Drop out of school, no skills. So since I was dealing with a few business brokers, I said, well, let's become a business broker, because one advantage is, as a business broker, you can see all the balance sheet of the business for sale. So it's a good way to get into business, because you know the business before you buy it. So I tried that for a little while, and then get to know one of the challenge, if you ever talk to a business broker, is getting the clients, right? Getting client, just like a real estate, I guess, getting the listings is very challenging. So I found a cheeky way to do it. The people always went broke in the shopping centers. Very harsh environment, high rent, very competitive. So I call up the shopping center leasing agents. I say, hey, guys, if you have a business going down, pass it to me, say I can sell it for you. And then I did sold a few successfully, and I also helped a few, especially hospitality business. Actually, I went there, give them some recommendations. All of a sudden, they don't want to sell the business anymore. They're profitable. So that was pretty stupid. Anyway, so after that, I get along the leasing agent pretty well. They know if they have the shop, like not paying the rent, I may be able to help them either paying rent or find someone else pay the rent. I think it's 2013. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 2012, 2013. After I only done that for about a year, business broking, I got a call from my mates, the leasing agent from Westfield. They say, hey, David, we're doing the extension of Garden City. Can you help us find some food business? And I say, how much commission are you going to pay me? He said, none. And he goes, what? I said, that's not very nice, but what do you want me to do? He said, we want a big Asian food precinct to come by Sunnybank. So why don't you find some people for me? I say, well, I can, but you're not paying me commission. He said, no, we're not paying commissions. That's Westfield. So, and then I said, well, there must be something in there. I sense there's something in there. So I said, okay, fine, I'll help you. So I ran out some newspaper advertising. I did some, calling around. And then my phone just been running off the hook, ringing off the hook. And then I say, well, so many people want to get into Westfield. So I passed the Westfield requirement to them, and then nobody liked me anymore. They say, oh, what? We have to spend so much money to design the place. We don't have the design place. I can draw a plan. That's all the small food business people. And then I say, look, you got to spend the money to fit our place. I said, oh yeah, I can get my mates, from China, who used to be in China doing the renovation, come here, do about $5,000. And no, I said, you fit out budget risk we want you to spend is about 80 to 100,000. So they all turn off, every single one of them. And some people even ask me, can I buy one, shop in Westview? I said, no. So as you can appreciate, there's a lot of gap, between people's expectation to go into a shopping center, especially at the food business, hospitality business. So I say, what can I do? So that's where the A Street idea come along. As you all know from Asia, this idea is not mine, right? There's a lot of this kind of place, Food Republic, different people, food courts in China, they're all there. But I say, how about I do something like this? So one thing after the other, which I'll talk a bit more, and that's where the A Street come along. So 5 years down the track, luckily we're still going strong with a full location now. So yeah, that's it.
That's a very down-to-earth story.
Thank you.
You mentioned that you were of IT background before. So how did you transit from IT background to founding your A Street? I mean, where's the faith or determination coming from? When I say IT background, I don't claim to be a technician or programmer. Okay, I think IT is just a nature of the business or type of business. These days, I think most of the people here, they might running one or two multiple business, already. So all the business, I think the fundamental is very similar. You just have to, go with your fundamental, hard working. So I don't say there's a big transition, but I say I learned a lot, from the IT business. I mentioned before, I was lucky enough when the IT business was booming, when I got into it. So I learned a lot of things from there, and those knowledge and the experience and the failures, I think helped me through this A Street business. Yeah. So managing a food retail outlet where it requires a lot of knowledge and skills from various fields, like feed outs, like you mentioned, feed out, lease management, tenants management, marketing operations, so on and so forth. So how did you gain all this knowledge before the first A Street was established?
Oh, with a lot of embarrassments. I remember as a business broker, the first business we tried to sell, one of the first business we tried to sell was a small food business near UQ in St. Lucia. And then the lady said to me, oh, we have a grape trap at the back, for a food business. And I goes, what's a grape trap? And she goes, you don't know what grape trap is? I try to sell my business. So that was a very embarrassment. So to answer your question, through learning, through the years, I guess in some way I was lucky enough to partner with Westview for the first A Street. Westview did have a lot of, although they can be as brutal as anything else, but they do have a lot of professional people to work with them. And therefore, these days, in my business, I have a lot of professional people to help me. For example, external consultants, solicitors, that help me deal with all the things I don't claim to know myself. Yeah. So not to know everything yourself, but find the right people, and then to help you through the journey. Yeah.
David, you were the winner of Lord Mayor's Multicultural Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2006.
Yeah, long time ago.
Tell us about the win, and what do you think was your key winning factor?
Oh, I don't know the winning factor because I remember at the time of the interview, they looked I don't know if you're familiar with the process, they basically ask you to answer a lot of questions, and then they just go through your balance sheet and profit and loss. A Street wasn't profitable at the time. So they asked me, they say, why should we, give the award to you as business not profitable? I said, look, because we, like I mentioned before, we found all those people, professional people, employed by my business to lay the foundation of future A Streets. I say, well, when I open the second one, we'll become very profitable. So I guess the winning factor, I think the A Street is very different. A Street is a very different business. It's meant to be there, but I'm just fortunate enough to be the first one to do it. Yeah.
So I can say your winning factor is innovation. Yeah.
Yes, I guess so.
Okay, so coming back to before you open your first A Street, how do you make sure that all your tenants are in sync with the launching timeline?
Oh, I tell you what, 2 days before the opening date, actually, I think we didn't launch on time. We were 12 days late. It's supposed to be open on the 18th of September. We wasn't launched on time. We couldn't. Yeah, but every tenant opened at the same time, luckily. With the shopping center, especially with the food business, you also the last minute. But I guess these days, one of my philosophy doing business is you always look at what the other people want. You know, if you can give the other people what they want, they can always give you what you want. So I try to talk to the tenants, probably using a more recent example, the Harbour Town one. You know, we opened the Harbour Town just before Christmas last year. I can assure you, 2 days before opening, I wasn't sure we're going to open on time or not. Okay, I just have to talk to people, say, look, you want your Christmas trade, you want to, Harbour Town's obviously very busy. Everybody knows that, live in Brisbane or Gold Coast. You want your Christmas trade, you got to do this or you got to do that. Our tenants have a different need, have a different challenge, have different personalities. You just have to find the point they really want, which is open on time, make some money straight away, and then push them along.
So for the tenants, what are some of the selection criteria to find them?
I think one of the biggest difference in A Street is we don't want the same food from two tenants. Okay, we want that every tenant doing something individual, unique, and authentic. So there are quite a few selection criteria. One of them is that they got to do authentic Asian food. You know, a lot of people come to me and say, "Can we sell pizza? Can we do fish and chips?" I say, "Well, they are very popular food, I'm sure, but no, we are Asian food." And some of them, nothing against the franchise or franchisor or franchisee here. Some of the franchise come to us, say, "Oh, we want to do this franchise, this franchise." We assess them very carefully. We want people who do very unique food. I'll give you an example. A Street, we have a Rolling Man in Garden City, up front. They do the pancake, 煎饼, which is from my home country, okay, which I love myself. If I go to my home country, I always get that, for breakfast. So there's a young couple come to me and say, "Oh, we want to find a location in A Street to do Sichuan style food." We say, what do you mean Sichuan style food? There's all rice, dishes. I say, well, there's nothing exciting there. And they say, "Oh, what do you want?" I say, "Well, we wanted to bring this food." I say, "Can you do it?" He said, "Okay, I'll go back and study." So he actually, this guy, give you credit, right? He actually went to Tianjin, my hometown, to study the inside out of how to make a bing. Yeah. And then he came back, not as good as China, of course, because the ingredient and everything we got here, but still, he made good enough to stay in business, open the 5 or 6 branches. I think now he has, right? So that's one of the things, I think, very authentic Asian street food, and no duplication.
And what do you think has been your constant challenge of your daily operations of A Street?
Since my customers are all business owners, right? Often they pass their challenge to me, so that's my constant challenge. I was this morning talking to the Mala Town, the hot pot people. They said the Harbour Town business is not good as they expected because their staff is not doing well. And then I normally say, as a landlord, that's not my business, right? But somehow that is my business. So I give them some recommendations, maybe even ask my manager to help them manage the tenant, to manage the staff, because the owner is not often in the store. So to summarize, my daily challenge will be the input of the challenge from my tenants. They say that in the good side, they say A Street as a big family, right? Unfortunately, I get all their complaints, all their problems, and I help them to deal with it. Yeah.
So are all other customers of A Street mostly Asian?
Yes, I try to think something different. I can think 1 or 2 spouses or husbands, they're not Asian. But yeah, most of them Asian, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I actually see like some local people in A Street, and they're having like very spicy hot food, and you can see the spicy oil on the on the top of the food. And it's like, oh, they're really good.
Oh, sorry. The question before, you're talking about the tenants or you're talking about the customers?
Oh, the customer.
Oh, the customer. Oh, sorry. The customer is, I say, probably 50-50.
Okay.
You know, during the week, I think there's more Australian people, and during the weekend, there's probably more Asian people. But they also depend on location. For example, Harbour Town, not during a peak season, the tour from China, but during the probably school holidays or long weekends, you see a lot of, you know, Western people, Caucasian people in there eating as well. Yeah. Yes.
So how do you make sure that your A Street is appeals to both local Australians and the Asian community?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. We try to market to the Asian people, as in you can eat this food from China. For example, I mentioned before the jianbing, right? Jianbing guozi. Yeah, which is pancake, which is a lot of Asian people say, well, I can't eat anywhere else in Brisbane or in Gold Coast, so therefore I go to that place. But for a lot of Australian people, I think the atmosphere is very important. You know, like the Harbour Town, the fit out during the common area, we spent about $1.1 million. You know, the tiles, you know, the roof tiles. It took the tiler, a team of 3, 5 weeks just to do those tiles, because every single tile is about this big, and then they have to drill the hole, and they have to lie on top of each other and then secure that to the roof structure, right? So besides the engineer for the weight, everything else, just that whole process, I think costs about 80,000-90,000 just for the labor. So for something like that, of course, you don't have to do it. You can just use plastic or wood or something like that. But if you want to stay authentic, that's where you get the both Asian and the local, you know, Australian customer. I mean, Australia is an island, right? So when people go overseas, they fly out. So the first destination they fly out most likely is Asia. So when they go to Asia, they all see this kind of a food court, they all see this kind of structure. So if you duplicate it here and duplicate it here well, do it really authentically, you know, they appreciate that. And then they come back again and again.
Yeah, exactly. Before I carry on, do you have any questions from the floor? Owen?
Okay, I'll talk louder enough. I'm happy to listen David's story. We've been friends a while, and my husband is Aussie. Before A Street, we always go Sunnybank, or sometimes we go same restaurant because I'm vegetarian. So now since got the A Street, we can choose different food. Also, I hope David can open one like in Newstead.
Newstead? Yeah.
Because I live in Newstead since 2006, and I was the first Asian face doing morning exercises every day for the first 5 years. And now go more and more Asian. Also, number 2, David mentioned about the law mayors that award. I know it's very difficult because back to 2010, I nominated one of the Korea supermarket. I nominated her business, but she didn't win the first round. She been the last 3.
Okay.
So I feel I answer lots of questions. So I totally understand. Also, like you said, also today I just put a new listing about my one of the house in Ashtray. I mentioned about from the house to the Sanyi's house. That is one of the supermarket in Ashtray. Only by drive 11 minutes. Because I said that's one of the attractive for the Chinese buyer. So somehow we already start using A Street or the Yazhou Sanyi's house, the Sunlight supermarket as our part of the selling point.
Okay.
So I think David is successful. We're looking forward you open more in
Thank you.
Brisbane and Gold Coast.
Yeah, Newstead, keep that in mind.
Hope that one our vegetarian one, because I'm vegetarian. I would highly suggest you open a vegan one.
How about you open one? I'll help you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the suggestion. One more question?
Thank you. I'd like to know how does your business work?
How does my business work?
Yeah, how, I don't know if you're free to disclose.
No, that's fine.
But how you earn your income
Yeah.
through the business and running this A Street business?
Yeah, sure. So how A Street work is we basically take a head lease from landlords like Westfield. I use Westfield for example. And then we responsible for renovating the whole space. We're responsible to pay rent for the whole space, and then we'll subdivide. We'll do the design ourselves. We'll subdivide into number of food tenancies. Of course, we have to consider the food services, as in resorts, or great trap, etc. We got to consider the cleaning or common area, okay, cleaning rooms. We always have a bar. So besides the bar, we sublet all the food tenants out, so they pay us the rent, okay. And also jointly, we have a cleaner to clean the whole precinct, and each tenant contribute to that cleaning cost. Yeah.
Any marketing?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, very good. Sorry. Since we're in more media, right? Marketing. Yeah, each tenant contribute a certain marketing as a percentage of the rent, 5%. Okay, and we use that marketing dollars to spend with we have our own marketing team, but I want to talk to people from Meow Media very soon. Yeah. Maybe after tonight, the function. And then we would need to spend the marketing dollars. We want to market the whole precinct for them. Yeah. And of course, we deal with any threat or competition. For example, Westfield, I think 6-8 months ago, gave enough to put a dumpling kiosk outside 8th Street in Garden City. And that kiosk gone in 3 months. Thanks for marketing and everything else. Yeah. So we basically, like a family, like I mentioned before, so we deal with all the issues. And then we have a manager on site all the time in 8th Street. So if the tenant have any issues, customer service, Westfield staff, parking, rubbish, anything, they talk to our manager. Then our manager will filter through the inquiry. Some of them is stupid, they can deal with it, but they can then pass on the proper inquiry or issues to the shop owner or shop manager. The manager can keep eye on the staff. This morning, typically Harbour Town, one of the shop, the gas doesn't work. Okay, the owner's away, so our manager have to find a gas fitter to go there to fix it. So we basically deal with all issues within 8th Street. Yeah. So it's like you work under. We're not just your landlord. Okay, I always say this. We're much more than a landlord. It's like you deal with a group. So any issue you have, because your interest is our interest. Who's the best landlord? The tenant make money, right? So if our tenant will make money, I have no issue collecting rent. Yeah.
So in order to answer Andrew's question, I think, is it fair to say that your income stream model is mainly the difference between the rent that you're paying to Westfield and also the sum of the rent that you collect from your
Yeah, that's fair to say. That's our mainstream income. Yes.
Where's the name came from?
Where the name come from? Oh, good question. I think there's two inspiration of the name. One of them is when 8th Street started, there's a East Street in Hamilton. Okay, so North Shore. Yeah, and the other one is I did a trip to Asia to do some research of different food court. The one in Malaysia, they call the 10号胡同, number 10 runway. Yeah. So they're very popular, and then so these two together, then 8th Street.
And number 8 is the lucky number.
Yeah, number 8 is lucky number. Yeah.
Okay, I really have to carry on. I still got a couple of questions. You can save yours after the event. Feel free to. Well, David, as an entrepreneur, what do you think is your biggest strength?
My biggest strength. This could be my biggest weakness as well. I think to be an entrepreneur, not necessarily for me, but I think to be an entrepreneur, you can't give up. When I say that, I mean in a lot of areas. I said before, I made a lot of mistakes, in my business life. When you really get something at the end, for example, winning the award, one of my points on that speech now is actually that night on my speech of winning the Lord Mayor's Entrepreneur Award, I talk about failure. It's not a very good thing to talk about on the award night, but I really believe that, because when you win something, you look back, you look all the failure you made, and you realize those failures are necessary. They are absolutely necessary. okay, for you to be successful somewhere else. So, I mean, I look at myself. One thing is I'm a little bit stubborn, okay. I'm from North China. You know, people from North China know we tend to know as stubborn. So if one thing I can't get out of my way, I'll keep doing it until I win, or until it's my way. So when I failed a lot of things, and I'll just keep trying, and then I guess one thing I also want to do is apply my knowledge, how I failed, into what I do in the future. So make sure I have a better chance of being successful. I think that's probably my answer to your question. Yeah.
Definitely, because I believe we learn more from failure than success. Yeah. My next question, in addition to financial returns, what is the most satisfaction that you get from what you do? Because I can imagine that being your position, not many parties will really appreciate what you do.
Oh. To answer the question, I guess I use one of the example of some people we know here. I won't mention the names, but one of the tenants, when we start 8th Street, you know, we of course go through the process of leasing, selecting the tenants, go through contract. This tenant tell me, say, David, I don't believe you. Okay? He said, although you got 8th Street in Garden City, I think you just here to try to get as much money out of me as possible. Right. That's through the whole process. From the leasing, offer, contracting, she paid the deposit. She just said it to me all the time. Her lawyer is a very good friend of mine. Okay, we're gonna go fly on Saturday morning. But her lawyer even said to me, "Oh, you know, she really doesn't trust you." I said, "Yeah, I know." So I said to her, I said, "Look, there's no in between. You either trust me or you don't trust me. Because if I try to do something wrong with you, there's a lot of ways I can manipulate little things and then get you in. But you either trust the business or not trust the business." She said, "Oh, I choose to do it, but I choose not to trust you." I said, "Okay, that's fine. That's your choice." So when we opened 8th Street, Harbour Town, and then after we opened before Christmas, and Christmas was very busy, I was there helping everything. And then one night, and then everything finished, I was there to finish up with the tenant, and I said to her, I said, "Do you trust me now?" She said, "Yeah, I trust you now."
It's time.
Yeah, take time. But it's a rewarding thing you help someone, okay? She, with her attitude, you know, and the way she does things, she probably, I don't blame her, right? She probably have a lot of bad experience before, either in Australia or in China, but she have that mindset. And a lot of people, I guess, from China these days, if they got a con before, they have that mindset to be careful, right? Not to trust a lot of people, especially where your money is. But to turn those people around and also to help people, someone may not be able to do the business at all, can do it, you know, is probably my biggest reward. Yeah.
I heard that you took your suppliers and your own team for overseas holidays as a reward. Why did you include suppliers as well?
Oh, it's not a holiday, most of them, trust me. Well, we have another project coming up, and then Westview Garden City, now it's 5 years. We have a 7-year lease, but we're going to renew by September this year for another 10 years. So part of the process is we want to, you know, upgrade the Garden City renovation. So I took my designer, my shop fitter to Shanghai and then Beijing. Okay, I want them to see firsthand what's the Chinese architecture look like, right? I mean, my designer never been to China. My shop fitter never been to China. So I think it's absolutely important they see that firsthand and appreciate, you know, the different Chinese architecture. I don't want to keep arguing with them. Say, "Oh, we should do this, we should do that." If you got time, I just throw in a little bit funny story here. When we try to create the first 8th Street in Garden City, the shingle roof, you know, you probably see that it's not the real tile shingle roof. It's the resin. Okay, so it's a hard plastic. So that's the only one we can do with the budget, with the time at time. So I went to China and I took this, I remember very clearly, 1.1 meter by 1.9 meter piece myself. It cost me a fortune through the fly. And then once I go through the customer go, what the heck is this? And I told them, they didn't believe me. Anyway, I took back to Westview office, and I say, look, can you get this approved? That's going to be my shingle roof. And they say, no way on earth. They say, this is not real. This is a plastic. I said, well, that's all I can get by the time and then the money budget I get. So they had a meeting. They're going to refuse. I said, I'm not going to leave your office until you approve this, right? You guys log in your design office and then find a way to prove this. So they were in there for 3 hours. I'm serious, 3 hours, right? Discuss this roof. Westview could be really particular sometimes. And they come out, they say, we approve it with a condition. I said, what's the condition? He said, you get some makeup artists from the movie set in Hollywood. You bring them here. We just have to know a contact from LA, USA. You bring them here, and you touch up this roof, make them look authentic, and then we can ask you to use it. I said, who's going to pay for this? They said, you are. I said, hell, I am. Anyway, this roof go up. And then after the A Street was built, the cleaner goes through it. Westview design people come through and say, hey, don't clean it. This is exactly the look we want. Because it's dusty. So, that's just one of the funny story I want to throw in for that.
That's a smart way to tell people what's authentic.
Yeah.
Next question. What has been the hardest lesson you've learned since the start of your entrepreneurial journey?
What's the hardest lesson I learned? Ooh, there's a lot of them. I try to think what's the hardest. The hardest thing, I think the hardest lesson I learned, I started my business when I dropped out of uni about 19, and now I'm 45. So look back, I think you have to take a long-term view. Okay? When I say that is you can make money today, or you can make money a year later, or you can make money for the 10 years to come. Don't choose to make money today. All right? Don't take a short view, unless you're going to die tomorrow or next month, which I don't, thankfully. My daughter didn't tell me that. So if you're now going to finish your life, right, invest yourself, invest what you do, don't give up, don't take a short-term view. If you take a short-term view, you're always going to bite you. For example, if we take when A Street start, we give away a car. There's no way the marketing dollar we collect from the tenants is going to pay for the car. But I don't have to. I can just say, okay, A Street is done. My job is done. I'm not just going to stay back and collect the money. Okay? That's a short-term view. But if I keep investing it, become very busy, the tenant's very happy to pay the rent, the new tenant very happy to pay the premium rent, then that's a long-term income. So I made a lot of mistakes on that point before, and I certainly learned that probably my hardest lesson. Yeah.
Okay. My last question. Now that people know that your business model and we see its proven success, what do you think could prevent them from setting up a similar models to compete with you in the future?
Nothing. Short and easy. Nothing. I think just like any business, the business always up and down. Just like doesn't matter you work for somewhere or you own your business up and down, and the competition coming. We mentioned before the Google, was near me. That's all new. So new technology, new food, they're always going to come. So I think the best thing we can do is, instead of worry about what other people are going to do, is try to perfect yourself as much as possible. Work on your own business, right? The next thing I want to do, and I openly say this as well, is some of them know I own part of the Sunny Asian Grocery. My goal is I want to build A Street and the Asian Grocery together. Okay, like I don't know if you've been to Italy. Start with E, E-A-T-L-Y. So Italy is like a Italian food, Italian grocery. They all wrap into one. They're very big in Dubai, New York, Milan, internationally. So I think that's a very cool business model. People can go there, eat, They can go there shopping grocery, have a go themselves. Doesn't matter you're Asian or Caucasian. So there's nothing really stop competitor come along. And then if you can try to innovate your business model within your business, right? Then that really you put the barrier higher and higher for your competitor to jump. Yeah.
Well, thank you, David. That's
No
the
worries.
end of the
Thank you for having
interview.
me.
A pleasure to have you here. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for
Thank you.
inspiring story.